Hi all, this is R. Maheshwari working as an assistant professor. This video lectures gives you an entire knowledge about wireless networks strictly adhering to Anna University Regulation 2017. In this video, we'll be seeing the overview about wireless LAN. Let us start with the introduction. So here I'll be discussing about wireless LAN technologies, infrared, WUHF, narrowband, SPED spectrum, then the wireless LAN technology IEEE 802.11 system architecture, protocol architecture, physical layers, MAC layers, and 802.11b and A, and about the HyperLAN 1 and HyperLAN 2, and finally I'll be ending up the session with Bluetooth. So let's get started with the introduction. So wireless networks, what is it actually? So it is nothing but computer networks that are not connected by cables are called wireless networks. They generally use radio waves for communication between the network nodes. They allow devices to be connected to the network while roaming around within a network coverage. So this is what I want to tell you. Look here, the system is connected to the printer by means of wireless communication. Again, you are able to access your mobile with another laptop or to another person using wireless communication. So no wires are connected between the devices. So such a setup comes under wireless networks. So why are you going for this wireless communication? Why have you chosen this wireless network as your major thing, or what attraction has it in this wireless networks medium? Number one, it is of mobility. That is, you could access the information behind the desk, wherever you are, right? And reachability, you are staying connected and being reachable sometimes, regardless of the location they are operating from. And simplicity, it is fast to deploy in comparison to the cable network. So if you're going to hire a wire thing, you should buy wires, you should hire the people, you should install it, you should give the cable connection, so and so. But this is nothing. You're just buying the devices and it's being connected. So it is very simple for connection. And maintainability. If suppose you're going for wired communication, you should maintain it. The wires could, if due to rats or something else, the wires might be broken or the connections might be out. So and so problems you have, but here in maintaining you don't have any maintenance. It is of very less in cost also. And roaming services, it provides you services anywhere, anytime, including bus, train, airplanes, etc. And what are the new services present over here? Like if you are having a wired network, that is a telephone, which is a wired medium, are you able to send messages, SMS over telephone network, BSNL communication or what? No, right? Whereas in your communication, in your wireless communication, you're able to send SMS, you're able to send text messages, that is SMS, you're able to send picture messages, that is MMS. Right? So these are new services present in your wireless communication, that is using wireless network as your medium of communication. And what are the examples present in the wireless networks? So mobile phone, as I said earlier, mobile phone networks, you are able to connect to person to person by help of this wireless communication. Then wireless sensor networks, then satellite communications, all the satellite communication. The evening, if you're googling anything, if you want to search anything over the Google, you are utilizing the satellite communication networks. And terrestrial microwave networks. So all these are some examples of your wireless networks. Next we'll discuss about the types of wireless networks. So how many types of wireless networks do we know? Actually, there are 4 types of wireless networks. Number 1 is wireless personal area network. We shortly call it as WPAN. Next is wireless local area network. We shortly call it as WLAN. Third one is wireless metropolitan area network. We shortly call it as WMAN. And the last one is wireless wide area network, shortly terminated as WBAN. So look here, what is this personal area network? See, if you're gonna connect 2 devices, right, my phone to a computer, right, if you're using web WhatsApp, you are connecting your mobile to your computer, right? So that is web WhatsApp. It is an example for your wireless personal area network. Okay, next, wireless local area network. For example, if you are sitting, your father is sitting in the hall, you are sitting inside your room, and your sister is sitting in another room. You three are browsing some topics, right? So you will have a modem over here. With the help of the modem, it is reachable inside the hall, inside the room, and inside another room. right? So the inside a building, the connection has been given. So this goes under wireless local area network. Next, wireless metropolitan area network. So if the wireless communication goes within a city, I call that network as wireless metropolitan area network. Wireless wide area network. I gave you the word as wide. What does the wide stands for? Various or vast area. So if it is going to cover globally, if your connection is given globally, we call it as wireless wide area network. So to sum it up, your wireless network has been broadly classified into 4 types. WPAN, it is only for a person, within a person. Again, wireless LAN, it is within a building, and WMAN, it is within a city, and WWAN, it is going to cover globally. So let us see in brief about these types of wireless networks. A table shows you the parameters of the 4 types of wireless networks. So as discussed earlier, the coverage of WPAN is within a person, coverage of WLAN is within a building or campus, the coverage of metropolitan area network is within a city, and WWAN is globally. And what about the performance? For WPAN, the performance is moderate. For WLAN, it is high. WMAN, it is high. And for WLAN, it is very low. Why? Because as you connect globally, sometimes you will get the signal, sometimes your connection will be disconnected. So hence the term low. And what is a standard? See, the IEEE organization has given a standard name for all these networks. So this, I call it as again a Bluetooth or IEEE 802.15. And WLAN is designated as Wi-Fi or IEEE 802.11. And WMAN, we call it as IEEE 802.16. And WLAN, it ranges from 2G, 3G, 4G, 3 and 5G and so on. And where are you using this WPAN? For cable replacement for peripherals. And WLAN, a mobile extension of wired networks. WMAN, fixed wires between homes and business internet. And WWAN, for accessing the internet, you are applying this. That's all for the types of wireless networks. How many modes of operation do you have in your wireless networks? Mostly you have only 2 types of modes. One, I call it as an ad hoc mode and infrastructure mode. So what is this ad hoc mode? What is this infrastructure mode? Look here, I'm just connecting my computers or my laptops together, right? So this comes under ad hoc mode, right? I'm just connecting my computers, 2 or 3 computers together. That I call it as an ad hoc mode. Wireless communication goes on. Next is an infrastructure mode. Here I will have an access point, and with the help of the access point, the users will be connected to it. Right? I have a central point to which all the laptops or computers have been connected. Either it could be a wireless network or a wired network. It is supporting a wireless network and a wired network. So such type of infrastructure mode, I call it as an infrastructure mode. Whereas only wireless communication, with only wireless communications, computers or laptops have been connected, that type of mode I call it as an ad hoc mode. So we'll see briefly what is an ad hoc or what is an infrastructure. So infrastructure, the communication takes place between only the wireless nodes and access point, but not directly between the wireless nodes, as I told earlier. Okay, so I already told you infrastructure, you will have a wireless network and a wired network connected by an access point. And the example for it is in IEEE 802.11 and HyperLAN 2. So example for infrastructure is IEEE 802.11 and HyperLAN 2. Next comes your ad hoc wireless network. I already told you your nodes are being connected between the nodes without any access point or not. Right? An example for it is in Bluetooth. Bluetooth is the best example for all your wireless ad hoc network. Come on, there are out of the utilities, you will have some issues with the networks. Let us discuss a major issues involved with wireless networks. Number 1, quality of service. See, while transmitting, the packet might be lost due to atmospheric interference. So there is a lack of quality of service in this wireless networks. Number 1. Number 2, security risk. Hackers are there. Hackers might grab your data, or they might steal your data, or might threaten. They might put unwanted data into our name. So hacking is a major problem with this wireless networks. And reachable range. So for calling, if in emergency purposes, if you're in a hilly areas, it is not possible to access you in such areas, provided if you have a good reachable range. and certain proprietary solutions. So these are the major issues related to wireless networks. Let us look into the design goals which have to be taken into account for WLANs to ensure their commercial success. So as discussed earlier, we have some major issues. So let us discuss some design goals which should be taken into account for the wireless LANs. Number one, global operation. So WLAN products should sell in all countries. So national and international frequency regulations have to be considered. And low power, see, devices are communicating via WLAN are typically also wireless devices running on battery power. So the LAN design should be taken this into account and implement special power saving modes and power management functions. License free operations. LAN operators do not want to apply for a special license but be able to use the product. The equipment must operate in license free bands such as 2.4 GHz ISM bands or robust transmission technology. Compared to wired counterparts, WLANs operate under difficult conditions. If they use radio transmission, many other electrical devices can interfere with them. So that should be taken into account. And easy to use. In contrast to huge and complex wireless LANs are made for simple use. They should not require complex management but rather work on plug-and-play basis. Protection of investment. A lot of money has been invested into wired LANs. The new WLAN should protect this investment by being interoperable with existing networks. This means that simple bridging between the different LANs should be enough to interoperate. That is, the wireless LAN should support the same data types and services that standard LANs support. Transparency for applications. Existing applications should continue to run over wireless LANs. So these are the design goals which should be taken into account. Now, what are the wireless technologies available? So we have infrared, we have UHF, ultra high frequency ranges, we call it as narrowband, and spectrum techniques. Let us discuss one in detail. Infrared. So infrared, it is an invisible band of radiation that exists at lower end of visible electromagnetic spectrum. There are two types of infrared WLAN solutions. One we call it as line of sight, direct beam, or uses reflected rays, we call it as diffused beam. These direct beam, it offers a data rate of a faster data rate, while the diffuse beam, it achieves lower data rate in the range of 1 to 2 megabits per second. And the advantage of using this infrared technology is there are no government regulations and it is immune to EM and RF interferences. A disadvantage is that it is a short range technology and it is also affected by fog, dirt, ice and snow. Second one, the UHF narrowband technology. Its frequency range is from 430 to 470 megahertz and rarely some segments are present in 800 megahertz range. The portion of 430 to 450 megahertz is unlicensed, where the 450 to 470 megahertz is licensed. The term narrowband is used because the RF signal is sent with a very narrow bandwidth, typically ranging from 12.5 kilohertz or 25 kilohertz. There are two systems, synthesized and unsynthesized system uses crystal control frequency operation. Synthesized uses single crystal, standard crystal, and the multiple frequencies are achieved using dividing the crystal frequency and then multiplying it to desired channel frequency. The advantage of this narrowband technology is it has a longest range and it's low cost for large sites. And obviously disadvantage, it is you need license to operate in it. A third one is a spectrum. In this technique, the entire allocated band is shared instead of dividing into discrete private parts. The spectrum spreads the transmission power over the entire usable spectrum. Thus, though the bandwidth efficiency decreases, reliability, integrity and security increases. It offers a data rate of about 2 megabits per second. And this scheme is further classified into two types. Number one, it is frequency hopping spectrum and direct sequence spread spectrum. So, what is FHSS, frequency hopping spread spectrum? Here, the frequency in a pattern known to both transmitter and receiver. It uses a narrowband carrier that changes the frequency in a pattern known to both the transmitter and receiver. It appears to be a short duration impulse noise. The data security increases in this method. Whereas in your direct sequence spectrum, it generates a redundant bit pattern for every bit to be transmitted, known as a spreading code, known only to the transmitter and receiver. Okay. So this is all for today's session. I'll meet you with the other topics in another session. Thank you. Stay connected.